Okay, so today we're going to start covering our next section, which is going to be function notation and modeling with functions. Now, when we say the word modeling, what modeling means is taking a problem, a situation, and representing it with equations. Now, this is something you've done all the way through Algebra 1, even a little bit in 7th and 8th grade, but we finally start using the actual word. Did any of y'all take math modeling? None of y'all did? Okay, good. That entire class pretty much is based on how do we start doing more real-world type math. So here's the type of thing that you would see in your textbook, okay? We'd see something like this, these problem situations. A car rental company charges $30 a day and 15 cents a mile for renting a car, and Helen rents a car for 2 days. Her bill comes up to $108. How many miles did she drive? Basically, what we're going to be trying to do is identify what all the different variables are inside of that equation, and then also try and start figuring out how do I express that situation using equations and those variables. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is, number one, identify your variables. Now remember, your variables are just going to be your unknown quantities. Then go ahead and assign letters to them. Now the book is going to tell you to assign symbols. The reason for that is many times they use different things. They'll use Greek letters. They'll use, shapes sometimes. So assign a variable of some kind. Step 2 is going to be express all unknowns in terms of that variable. Now we'll run through one of these in just a minute. We'll actually do it for this one. Step 3 is going to be set up the model. And when I say model there, what that means is the equation or function. And step 4 is going to be solve and check. We always want to make sure that whenever we solve these things, we check for reasonableness, because whenever we come in and write our own equations out of a situation, if we make a mistake, we can start getting some weird stuff. Like, for example, if you come up saying that somebody sold negative 14 hot dogs, you probably messed up somewhere on something. So go back, check your equations, check your variables, check your solving technique, make sure that it actually works. Now, today we're not going to be actually doing any solving. We're only going to be worrying about 1, 2, and 3, going all the way through to setting up the model. So let's go ahead and practice on this one. Now, a rental-car company charges $30 a day, 15 cents for a mile. So first off, what are our unknown quantities there in that first sentence? What is it? Okay, number of days is unknown, and number of miles. All right. Isn't there also a kind of unstated unknown there, the cost that we're going to be paying? Okay, so we've also got cost. All right, let's go ahead and read on and see if we can find another one. Let's see, Helen rents a car for 2 days. Well, all of a sudden that's not an unknown anymore. That's defined. That's going to be 2. Her bill comes out to $108, so that's $108. That's not unknown anymore. Continue on. How many miles did you drive? The only unknown there is miles. So let's go ahead and assign that as a variable, which is M. We also want to make sure that we are always using variables that make sense to the problem. Please do not just go back and always use X and Y. If you are going to use X and Y, write specifically on your paper X equals number of miles. Okay, that way you don't get any confusion later on. Okay, step 2 is to express all unknowns in terms of that variable. We only have one unknown, so we don't have to worry about that. Later on, we'll come back and focus in on doing that one. Now, come up with an equation to model the situation. Let's see, $30 per day and 15 cents per mile. So wouldn't I, whenever I'm trying to come up with my cost, wouldn't that be 30 times the number of days? And then add to that what? 15 cents per mile? And that would equal my cost, wouldn't it? Okay. Now, luckily we have numbers for days and cost. So let's go ahead and multiply that through. Substitute in your 2 for days plus 1.5. We don't know miles. That's still my variable. Is equal to C cost, which is 108. And then just simplify. 60 plus 0.15 M is equal to 108. And there is my equation that models this particular situation.